Now, if you clicked on this video, you're probably thinking, to find a guy in 2026, what is she gonna tell me? I have to do the inner healing. I have to know where all the good men are. Or maybe join another dating app with a better algorithm. I'm not gonna tell you any of that because don't get me wrong, those things are nice to know or do, and I've even done that inner work. But what I'm gonna show you instead in this video is a step-by-step system to go from endlessly searching to actually married quickly. A lot of things people have told you are essential are actually not. In fact, they're keeping you stuck. So before we get into it, I just want to tell you who I am if this is the first time clicking on one of my videos. I'm Mindful Muslimah. I'm a mom of 5 doing this 20 plus years in women in 100 plus countries. And when you work with that many women for that long, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about our problem as an ummah. And even in the podcast we have about 7 million global. And we're just dedicated to the mission of crushing the marriage problem in our community. And if you want to be part of that mission, if you believe in this work, or maybe even you need the help yourself, hit the subscribe button right there. Now let's get some women some help they actually need. Let's go. Welcome to the Mindful Muslimah Speaks podcast, a safe space to learn and grow into the best version of yourself that you're always meant to be. I'm your host, Mindful Muslimah, a mom of 5, big sister to the community, and a licensed educator with 25 plus years and supporting tens of thousands of Muslim women worldwide. Now, I'm excited to share a ton of solutions to your problems on love, relationships, life balance, reconnecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting back on track, and more. So grab a cup of coffee and close out those tabs. These next 20 to 30 minutes are all about you. Let's get started. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the podcast. Now, before we dive in, I have a super exciting thing to share for 2026. Many of you have been asking for this, so we're excited to finally share. I've opened up an entirely free school that will allow you to connect with me monthly, get a ton of free resources, a ton of advice on your situation. And if you want to get access to all of that, just click the link below and you will be inside with all the other sisters. All right, what are the things everyone thinks will get them married, but really won't? Well, number one question I get all the time. Sis, where do I find him? So this is the most common question I get. Where are the good guys? Should I use this app? Should I go to this masjid? Like, I don't have guys in my city. What should I do? Look, I get it. Many people think knowing where to look is the key thing, but it's not. It's not. In fact, it's something else entirely. And if you watch this video in full, you will know what 90% of people looking don't know. Number 2, inner healing. Now, before you come at me in the comments, just want to say this clearly. I love inner healing. If you have done trauma work, if you've worked through your past, if you put your finger on what was holding you back, I love that for you. In fact, I've done a lot of that work in my past, right? I get it. But here's the brutal truth, and I want you to know this from the bottom of my heart. Inner healing alone will not get you married. You might get an inner healing coach or a trauma coach. Love that for you. That will not get you married. I cannot tell you how many women come to me after spending 2, 3, 4 years and so much money on therapy and inner healing work and child wounds, and they're still in the same place when it comes to finding a spouse. But why? Why? You did that work because inner healing yourself is beautiful and necessary. Going to be a great wife and mom, but it does not teach you a way of, a system. It's a skill set, how to vet a man and marry the right person. So if that's you and you've done that work and you're like, why am I stuck? What can I do next? You definitely want to keep watching the video. Now, so if it's not about where to find him and it's not about the inner healing, what is it? Today, I'm going to show you the actual steps, the real system. Actually, I'm going to do like an overhead with a projector. And here's what I need you to do. I need you to grab a pen and paper. No, seriously, pause the video. Get something to write with, because I love the passive listening, but that's part of the problem too, right? We're here to go deep, or at least maybe save the video if you're outside right now so you can do that later and keep watching, right? This isn't going to be some surface level advice. This is an entire framework that actually works. You ready? Let's buckle up and do this together. Let's dive into the beginning steps. All right, step 1. And I could already hear some of you saying, oh, sister, non-negotiables. I've done this and heard this a million times. I have my list. I know what I want. Do you though? Because women come to me all the time with their lists. Then we work together and we often discover their lists are not correct at all. They thought they were, but they're not. Because here's what I see happen all of the time. Someone sits down, makes their list of non-negotiables, feels really proud of themselves, and then proceeds to ignore that the second someone kind of shows them attention, or worse, makes their lists sound good on paper, but actually is nothing like their list, they get into all kinds of trouble. So let me give you an example of what most people put on their non-negotiables list. I know this sounds silly, but I do hear these. 6 feet tall, he must make X amount of money, have this type of family, he must be practicing at this level. It kind of seems reasonable, right? But it's not, because here's the problem. These really aren't non-negotiables. These are just preferences mixed up with vague concepts that actually mean absolutely nothing. Right? They don't help you find out if he's good for you, if you're compatible. Now, what does family-oriented, for example, mean? Does it mean he calls his mom once a week? Does it mean he wants 5 kids? Does it mean he'll expect you to host every holiday? See how vague that is? We're often like throwing out words on our list, but we don't actually define them. Like religious, does he pray 5 times a day? Does he go to Jummah? Does he study the deen? Does he apply to character? What does that mean in the way he treats you? Because plenty of practicing men pray, but they might not treat their wives well. When you said I need him to be kind, what does kind mean? Kind to strangers? Kind when he's angry? Kind when he doesn't get his way? This is what people are just getting wrong. They think non-negotiables are a list of traits they want and check them off. But you have to be specific and first of all, know what that means within yourself. And here's what most people don't do. They don't connect their non-negotiables to their past trauma. That's why that's a big part of the program I do. I make that gap for you. I take that away. Because let me ask you something. If you grew up in a home where your father was emotionally unavailable, or maybe shouldn't one of your non-negotiables be about emotional availability? And if you don't like the way your parents communicated, don't you think one of them should be about that? And if you've been in a relationship before, halal, haram, not my business, where somebody was financially irresponsible and it caused you massive stress, shouldn't you have a non-negotiable around financial transparency and responsibility? And shouldn't you know exactly what questions to ask to uncover that? Now, if you're someone who needs quality time to feel loved, shouldn't you have a non-negotiable about that? Because that's going to show up in the relationship and specific ways to assess if he actually can meet those needs. You see, it's deep. Your non-negotiables should be a shield, a protection away that's custom built to your life, your wounds, your needs, your future. Not the generic list I see people copying off of YouTube or the internet. And here's the other thing people get wrong. They don't make their non-negotiables actionable. It's not enough to say, oh, he has to be emotionally available. You need to know what questions will reveal if he's emotionally available, because a lot of stuff can be lied on. What behaviors should I be watching for? What are the red flags, right, that he's not? How long do I need to observe him to know for sure? Without this level of specificity, your non-negotiables, I'm sorry, they're useless. They're just a pretty list that makes you feel good, makes you feel productive while you continue to waste time on the wrong people. So here's what I want you to do instead. Your non-negotiables need to answer these questions. Ready? That's why I said you need pen and paper. 1, what past pain am I protecting myself from? Because that's allowed, right? Number 2, what specific behaviors or traits would trigger that pain again? Number 3, what is the opposite of that? The thing I absolutely need to feel safe and fulfilled. And what questions can I ask to uncover whether someone has that trait? Number 5, what observable behaviors prove it's real and not just talk? That is how you build it. Now, that's usually hard for women, so I do that with them in a program. But I just want you to know that because I'm being asked about the process. That's why usually walking these through with someone helps. All right, so let's go to step 2, casting your net. So like you have your non-negotiables, you then turn them into questions. That is hard, but let's pretend you did it, right? Then you meet someone. You like them. You start talking to them, just one person for weeks, months even, and then it doesn't work and you're back to square one. First of all, that's haram, but either way, stop doing that. Here's what you need to do instead. All right, obviously all this is done with your wali and I'll explain that, but craft your questions, your amazing non-negotiables, and then you turn them into questions. Then you send those same questions to multiple prospects, let's say on an app, copy, paste, right? You're not sitting on an app having endless conversations. That is not allowed in Islam. I'm sorry, if you're doing it, go ahead. There's no barakah in it. That's not my business. You're strategically vetting multiple people at once, just like, boo, sends it out, right? These questions are not small talk. Oh my gosh, what do you like to do for fun? Like nobody's doing that, right? They're designed to reveal very quickly if he handles conflict well, emotional intelligence, actually is who he says he is, right? Their financial situation, depending on what you're putting out there, right? How they navigate family dynamics. And all this you can tell. I usually teach women how to tell if these are truths or lies when the men respond. But based on these responses, you'll quickly see who gets moved to your wali and who kind of gets eliminated. I'm sorry. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my wali situation is complicated. I do hear that from a lot of people, so let me address this. We have Islamically aligned solutions for that exact scenario because I get it often. It's something we address specifically because, like in our live sessions, I'd have to go back and forth, but the principle remains the same. You don't bet someone alone on an app for months. This is not allowed in Islam. You use strategic questions quickly, and then you pass them to your wali to do the full thing. You follow me? If you need more info, I could help you in the free school, but that's what I have to say about that. Number three is important because let's say you do all that work, but you cannot read what they're saying. It's where women either save themselves, just walk straight into disaster. Once someone makes it past your questions to your wali, the real work actually begins. Because here's the truth. People can say all the right things in a message, but it is a great way to knock out a lot. Believe me, a lot of women get married off this concept. But what are they not saying? Right? What does their body language tell you? This is why I'm a big believer on not doing phone call vetting, like in person or Zoom if they're in another country. How do you respond when you're challenged? What do you notice in the gaps? This is where you read between the lines for guys. You're watching how they interact with you, with your wali. Do they get defensive? Do they respect the process? Or are they just nah, don't pass me to your wali till I get to know you better? That's a flag in itself. It's really important, even with waiters, attendants, family members, other people, paying attention, observing whether their words match their actions. Do they say I value communication, but 3 days later, they don't even respond to you on a message? Do they make impulsive purchases? Do they make impulsive decisions, period? You could throw away a perfectly good match or an actual spouse if you don't know how to read these things. You could think he's horrible and he's not. Or you could fall into a nightmare, just literally. So the ability to accurately read the back and forth, these flags, red, yellow, green, is everything. It's a skill set, okay? That's why I said the healing doesn't help you with this skill set. Can't go off of gut feelings. Can't go off your girlfriend's opinion. That stuff is so cheesy and it doesn't work. This is a future father of your children. So this skill set changes everything. And it's something you develop with practice, feedback, and guidance. That's why I'm here, right? Step 4, the final test, the final decision, right? So what we're really doing as we have these skills, that's why I said I teach them, but if you can do this is the process I'm teaching you. You need to see how he shows up consistently. You're looking for patterns. When things don't go their way, they're stressed. How do they behave? Do their actions match their words over time? Can't stress that enough. Right? If they say they show up for their family, do they consistently? If they claim to be patient, how do they respond when plans change or things go wrong? If they talk about wanting a partnership, do they include you in decisions or just inform you after? Consistency is a test. It reveals character over time, but you have to be able to read them. Can you read, guys? Are you sure? Because here's the thing. You need to know what to look for during that time and how long is enough time, right? What red flags can develop later sometimes. Sometimes, it depends. This is where having someone who's done this for thousands and thousands of times makes all the difference. So that is genuinely the process. By the end of that process, you're going to make a decision. And let's go over what I talked about today. Building non-negotiables that are specific, measurable, and connected to your actual life and needs. Crafting one focused set of strategic questions, putting them out to multiple prospects. We call that casting. And usually I do feedback with women, so you do that. And then learning to read what people are saying. We have body language, tone, the gaps, so you can accurately identify red, yellow, green flags. Because misreading, oh my gosh, this could cost you your dream marriage, or trap being a nightmare, to be frank. So watch for consistency over time so you know who they really are, not just when they're on the best behavior. Now, here's the thing. I've given you the framework, the what, but the how. That's where most women get stuck. How do you actually craft those specific questions? Are my non-negotiables good enough? What do you think about this one? How do you know if that response is good enough to move them forward or not? Now, what if your wali situation is complicated? We hear that constantly, like fathers and relationships, and we have that Islamically aligned solution or solutions we walk you through. But how do you know if what you're seeing is a yellow flag worth thinking more on, or red flag, like run from him? What does consistency actually look like in your specific context? Like, what do you want from a guy? These are the nuances that make all the difference between theory and actually getting married, right? And this is exactly what we dive deep into in the free school I mentioned. So I'm here with you. You can ask about your specific scenario. We can walk through what you're seeing. I can help you spot what you might be missing. We've got templates for crafting questions, resources for every step of what I'm talking about, and a community of women who are doing this work at the same time as you, alongside you. And if you need more personalized help, you can book a free one-to-one call. I have another link for that one below. Like, you want to just talk to me, that's cool too. But the link is below for school. Join us and show up to do these live sessions. Let's do this together, because knowing the system and being able to execute the system are not the same thing, right? Two totally different things. And I don't want you to waste another year because you didn't know how to apply this in your life. We're not doing like a science experiment. This is your future. This is serious, right? So remember, finding your spouse in 2026 isn't about where you find him or how healed you are. It's about having a system that actually works. It's about casting your net strategically instead of putting all your eggs in one basket and hanging on to a guy for weeks and months only for it to not work out, right? It's about asking the right questions that reveal character, not just like this surface level information. And it's about learning to read people accurately so you don't miss your person or marry the wrong one. It's about knowing what consistency looks like so you're making an informed decision that'll actually get you married. In 2026, this is your year, inshallah ta'ala. All right. See you guys inside school. The link is below. Bring your questions. Let's do this together, because you deserve to find your person, and I am here to help you do it. Exactly. And inshallah ta'ala, hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you'd like any other ones, definitely comment below. Let us know what you loved about it and what you need us to teach you even more on. And I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العلي